This is a crazy day. Like, I can't believe that we are here. Also, I guess I'm kind of glad that we're here. I've realized that there is a need to have some sort of like conduit that is like the thing that pushes people toward the truth, right? Like, because you would think after all of this time has gone on and everything that's happening in society, more people would just have to say something or have to engage in some way or realize that there's a serious problem, but they didn't, and they don't. And I think there are a few of us, right, who have and have been like, ooh, this is really bad. This is not coming to a good place. And I feel like just a lot of people who felt like they weren't involved in any way. Like, I feel like I've seen this from a lot of the like soft life black girlies they'll say shit like, I don't know how to put it. They don't even actually say anything. They just like, eat and shop and all that type of shit. And it's supposed to be this idea of like, because they don't actively like participate in the, discourse in politics or whatever, that it's supposed to mean that they're not involved in some way. And this is what I mean yesterday when I was talking about catching strays. Catching strays is the idea of group affiliation, even if you are not actively participating. So, like, you can sit here and believe that, like, and I say this, like, over and over and over again. 54 countries in Africa. 54, that's a lot. There's a bunch of ethnicities there. But to Roseanne Whites, they don't understand that shit. All they see is, like, black people. There's not like, some differentiation. There's not, like, more compassion toward one group. Nothing like that. And so that's why when I'm talking about intersectionality and identity markers, that's what I mean when I say you're black first, then you're female, then you get to be from whatever country you're from, then you can talk about language, then you can talk about like religion. And I think that some of those things are useful, but I keep on bringing up this idea of hypocritical Christians because it came up so many times yesterday. Like, for instance, there was a Muslim guy who gets on, and the Saints dude, he seems to be like me, where he's read all the religious books, but he has one religion that he practices. But he basically asked this guy who's like from East, he's an Egyptian guy who says that he's a Muslim. So the Saint dude gets on and he's like, okay, so explain to me this one. It was like a very important quote in the Quran. And the guy was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is. And then he was like, oh, do you want to take some time to think about it? Like, it was like a pretty fundamental quote in the book. And he's like, oh, no, I don't know it. I'm not sure. And it's like, wait a minute. And so he asked him, he's like, how old are you? And this dude was like, I'm 59. And so he says, you're 59 years old and you claim to practice Islam or be Muslim and you don't know the book. You don't know the Quran. I've taken one class on the Quran. Like, I'm not Muslim. But I mean, there are like the important parts I took away. The philosophy I took away. The core fundamental beliefs I took away. This guy has been Muslim his whole life and he couldn't cite anything to you. The same thing happened the night before where some guy gets into Lucas's live and then he's like, okay, well, I believe I'm religious. I'm Christian. That's what, or he says I'm religious or something. And he was like, okay, so what does that mean to you? And he was like, I believe in goodness and righteousness. And all of us were like, wait, what? Have you read any religious book at all? And then he was like, no. And it's just like, okay, so you don't even understand. Like, the Bible is not a book that's full of goodness. There's not only good that's in the Bible. There's like lessons of things that have happened, describing events where there's like a beginning, middle, and end. It's like a story. The point of reading the story is about understanding the different characters, things and decisions that they make, lives that were lost. Like, it is not some book of like, I think that's the strange thing about Gen Z, because they'll sit there and walk around with like crosses and shit and then be like, I think they think that Christianity, especially the women, they believe that Christianity is specifically about like sex before marriage. Like, that's the only part of that whole ass book that they took away. Everything else, nothing else. So I think, especially amongst Latin America, I feel like all that matters to them is the Virgin Mary. Like, the Virgin Mary is the only story that means anything. All the other like every other part of society means nothing. And this makes for a perfectly easily colonized people, which is exactly what happened, right? But I mean, it's kind of funny, like, to watch that shit play out in real life. Like, a whole book, and you got the New Testament, the Old Testament, multiple versions, apps, movies, fucking Bible studies 7 times a week, and like the only thing you took from it was one quote and one figure. Well, I mean, I think that is its own level of, it isn't just hypocrisy, it's more like delusion. You know, like, how? What? The other thing I think that's been sitting on my mind kind of heavy is this idea of, like, all life being valuable. I don't believe that at all. Like, I definitely think there's, like, a long list of lineages that should have ended a long time ago. I think there's something happening in the West where there's a want and need for docile and easily manipulated people to continue to reproduce, like the Walmart moms. When you really think about it, yeah, like, a Walmart mom is easily influenced. She's poor. She's, like, unattractive. Like, so she can't do anything except for, like, marry a poor man. That's, like, legitimately her only, like, contribution to society. Like, she doesn't have any intellect. She can't critically think about anything. She can sort of analyze the simple shit that she sees going on around her, you know. Oh, another person talked to me today. Oh, today I had a hot dog. Oh, yeah, it rained today. You know, like, she can talk about, like, water is wet. But that's as far as it goes. So I think a really major part of that, and especially I feel like I'm starting to understand this about, like, white America, especially, like, the Utah, you know, the white Christians, the ones who, like, I feel like they've been indoctrinated to know one part of a simpleton history. Like, their whole lived philosophy is about a partial story. And they have never had anyone at all explain to them any other part. Like, that's what I saw yesterday. Because, and like this, I saw black women coming online talking about how they are leaving the Democratic Party because of the way that they believe because of Charlie Kirk's murder, they are leaving the Democratic Party. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard ever. I don't even know, like, that doesn't even make any sense. That's like if I were to say, like, I picked a flower and so now I drove a car. It could be Shakespeare or it could be dumb bitch. And I am betting my bottom dollar on dumb bitch because those things are not related at all. And I mean, she said this, like, from the like, she stood on business when she said it. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, you have had a whole ass revelation based on bullshit. And she was serious. And, you know, what I would say to that is, like, all black people in America will have your nigger wake-up call. Sometimes it happens on a Tuesday. Sometimes it happens on a Saturday. Like, you never really know when it's going to come. And there's, like, levels to it, right? But you realize the vitriol that many people in the country feel toward black people. It's a genetic, you know, like, they just are born that way. Like, insert the Lady Gaga song. Like, they're never, ever, 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 ever gonna change. Like, we've been watching this for way too long. We've already talked about solutions. You know, replay the old videos. We don't need to go back there. Not the point. But listening to this, and I feel like I've seen this over, or I heard it yesterday for the first time, and it was just shocking. Because it's like, that's the part that's very interesting. Some people who are not participating, right, in politics are having politics participate in their lives. So maybe the issue that she is very, you know, she feels strongly about is this pro-life movement or the dignity of life, something like that. And that is one issue, right? Like, so abortion rights and maybe like, you could even say justice, right? But at the same time, I feel like that's an incomplete story as well, because this particular instance was about gun rights and gun regulation. Like, a whole school got shot up on the same day that Charlie Kirk got shot up. The same day. As he was talking about gun violence and gangs, right? I would argue MAGA is a gang, right? Wasn't January 6th a perfect example of gang violence? Guess it only counts if you're black. Can only use the G word for the blacks, right? Shit wears me down, really. Another thing that I thought was interesting is the way that black supremacists and white supremacists are falling on the same side of history for this issue. That is something I could have never assumed. I wouldn't have seen that coming in a very long time. Like, I listened to something that it looks like Nick Fuentes actually said yesterday. Holds true. So basically, it looks like a lot of the Daily Wire rights, the Daily Wire white rights are so upset. Whites is what I meant. They're very upset because Charlie Kirk was their friend, right? And so the way that I heard Michael Knowles describe it this way, he said he was an advocate, talking about Charlie. He said Charlie was an advocate for free speech. And what he did was try to engage with the other side in the public forum. And he was killed for it. Well, that's nothing new. Didn't that happen to Martin Luther King? So, unfortunately, when you are publicly sharing opinions that are unpopular amongst the masses, they don't like that. Because free speech is not really free. I will say this, though. I do think that in Martin Luther King's life, and I feel like this is another reason that my entire life I have not agreed with Martin Luther King about really anything. There is no possible way for black people to be free in America without violence. Violence is the only solution, to be very clear. There is no non-violent nothing that will bring about any change in America. That is just not the way shit works. So it's wild to hear people, and I've heard a bunch of people from the left like premise every conversation with that. Violence is not the answer. I'm a non-violent person. The fuck? So you're saying if somebody was to come right now and try to choke you out, you'd be like, I'm not violent. Well, then you'll be like the girl on the train and you just die. So that's how it goes. Like, you can, I mean, I don't know. Like, that there is a time and a place for violence. I gotta be honest, like, I feel like because it's not just like I lived my life this way, but that's a very big part of it. Like, I believe in the Malcolm X philosophy, right? Like, everything that Malcolm X did was just for black people. And then once he became a Muslim, then he did it for Muslims, right? But it was like all of his actions were like for his group. And so when there were debates or conversations The point of it was to like really try to understand the other side, and it was like invited conversations. I don't know. I guess those things, it just becomes really hard because there's a lot of people who have misunderstandings. Like, for instance, some people seem to really struggle with the fact that the mass shooter was on the right. He was a white kid from a 2-parent household. They are MAGA supporters from the right-wing Christians. Like, that is who killed their leader, right? In the same way that I believe it was like a black Muslim who killed Malcolm X. Interracial violence is much more common than anything else. And to solve those issues, you have to go internally. So, like all of the other problems facing the white race will have to collectively get together and solve their own shit. And don't include any black people in this conversation. So, like, listening to, like, that, I think that was very interesting. Like, listening to the white woman yesterday, and Matt Walsh, really all of them, they just started inciting violence toward black people. Like, this was their call to action to now start a war with black people. So, a white kid kills a white leader, and this is their ammunition to start a war with black people. You tell me that's not the race of the loony bin. Psychotic, really. It makes no sense at all. Just, I mean, it's like, find even a smidget of rationality there. Listening to the black people talk about how they're leaving the Democratic Party, I think they weren't actually ever part of the Democratic Party to begin with. Like, politics is about issues. And every time I fucking hear somebody talking about they're a Democrat, what does that mean? What issues do you care about? What issues are you voting on? Like, name 3 issues. And then tell me how you're voting on those issues. Because simply talking about how you're red or blue or what the fuck ever color, what the fuck does that mean? Politics, there's like a million issues on every ballot. These are people who've never voted or can't fucking read talking about red and blue, Democrat and Republican. Like, what? What's the issue? Like, what is it that you care about? And I think it's not even a problem. It's more like the confusion is the people who are saying this don't care about any issues. So, like, whatever way their lives are going right now, they're perfectly content to live out the rest of their lives with the laws being as they are. As a person who I don't have a dog in the fight. Like, I stopped giving a shit about the well-being of America a long time ago. Probably in, like, 12th grade. Maybe before that. Like, I am here. Unfortunately, I was born here. I think if God had a better plan for me, he would have raised me in Ethiopia. That would have been a much more civil way to let that shit play out. Right? But, given where we are, right, I do still have free will. And I certainly have plans. But I think it's very strange for the people who are, there's 2 sides. There's people who don't understand how Charlie Kirk's rhetoric and hate speech, because that definitely is what it was, harmed people. Or at least that's what they're saying. Because on the other hand, yesterday, when the people who are rejoicing because, like, their literal oppressor is dead, other people are criticizing them and saying, like, how could you be this vile? He's been vile for every day that he got on the mic. Every single day. And I guess the way I thought of it yesterday was like putting salt in an open wound, right? Like, I think that, I mean, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't have some sort of want or even need to try to change the opinion of people like Charlie, right? But also, I wouldn't go to his, like, spaces every day, you know, like, yelling about, you know, my point of view to him to then, you know, cause anxiety and distress. And, you know, that is the part, like, when I the other day when I spoke about DEI, that's what I meant by that. Like, it's okay that the country is fascist. It's not okay, but I mean, it is what it is, you know, like, racist will racist, but, like, so they don't like DEI. Okay. So now they took away all of the DEI policies. Okay. But, like, let's just, like, leave it there. Like, there's no need to put, like, salt in an open wound. Like, definitely don't get up every day and then be like, ha, 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 ha. We took away the program that was benefiting your group. Ha, 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 which is, like, what that was. And then trying to, like, rationalize around why taking it away was right. And it kind of feels like I didn't actually follow this man. I only saw him talk about that, and I just thought that was just so disrespectful. It was just like, damn, like, what is the point of that? Like, that, it's just as bad as the people who are making fun of that man as he's dead. Like, that's not useful either, but, like, I guess the petty goes both ways, because, like, he was putting a lot of salt in open wounds, man. Like, that's just, it's wild. Like, sometimes if you see something that is, like, wrong, or something that could use fixing because morally you know that it could be better, using your words to try to incite change that would improve the situation or the lives of certain people could be positive. It doesn't feel like that is what he was doing. He was simply, like, criticizing, publicly mocking, and degrading all of the groups that he didn't agree with. And it doesn't really feel like he took the time to listen to them or maybe he did. There were some conversations that I saw him have where it was like, you know, he was engaging with the other side. I don't know, I guess it's hard. Like, I feel like I see this from both sides to an extent. To anyone who, like, it feels like, the reality is, the only reason that Black people are able to participate civilly in any portion of society, and that's due to civil rights, and Charlie Kirk wanted civil rights rolled back. Charlie Kirk and his death will probably be the reason that civil rights are actually rolled back for all people of color in America. No part of that is funny. No part of that should be taken lightly. That's very serious. And I believe that, how can I say this? Like, there is an amount of courage, okay, that is required for someone to get up and, you know, voice their opinion, especially to the other side in real life, to have, you know, public discussion. I think that is a good thing. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's awful, you know, that a leader of any kind was, you know, murdered in that way. I don't think that that's the way that he should have gone. I definitely think God had another plan for him, and it, you know, but, well, obviously not, because he's gone, but, like, I don't know. I think that, like, I feel like people like him are very useful in society for standing tall in their bad ideas, standing tall in their immorality, especially when they hold up the Bible and say it. I think that's the part that makes the most sense to me. It makes it very clear when you have a text in front of you and you sit there in your bigotry. It allows you to see the hypocritical Christians in person. They're false prophets. And like, we can say it, but we need real lived examples, right? It's Matt Walsh calling for violence against people who had nothing to do with the murder of his friend. Because to him, the only thing that matters is his loss, as though others hadn't taken L's, right? Imagine how black women felt when Breonna Taylor was killed. Just maybe try to imagine. Or let's just roll back the record and realize that you couldn't even imagine. People like Matt Walsh, not only did they not care, they made 1 million videos mocking her murder. Mocking it. Justifying it. Finding every single reason why she deserved to die. But in his case, and in all of they all feel, though, that the exact same treatment that they gave to someone else should not be given to them. Because everyone else should be more ethical than them. But they should be able to propagate hate, mockery, hypocrisy, racism, bigotry, death, everything. Because in their minds, Jesus will save them. I hope Jesus saved Charlie. Did he? It's a lot. It's like, it's just, that's, when I say karma is real, that's what I mean. And I think that, you know, sometimes it gets really difficult because it typically does not work like tit for tat, as in like, you know, second one, this thing happens, and then second two, this thing happens. That's not really how karma works. Sometimes karma works in a way where you have a lineage of evil. It could be a population of European people who have committed so much evil on planet Earth that God said, you can't live here anymore. And their numbers start to decline. Their birth rates go down. The sun comes out. Skin cancer is on the rise. And over a span of a few years, they are no longer living. And their memory of destruction is played back on YouTube. And we all make mockery videos about it. Karma could potentially look like that. But who knows? Sometimes we have to just wait it out and see. It's certainly not, though, like a tit for tat. And I feel like that's something that over time I've had to realize, because I would simply wonder, like, there's no way that people could honestly believe that they could do certain things that are so heinous, that are so brutal, that are so demonic, and believe that they will simply laugh it off. Jesus will save them. Oh my God. Everyone has their day. Every dog has his day. And I think the funnier part about all of it is, even when you think that you are the most confident, you are the most mean, you are the biggest, hater, the biggest perpetrator, the biggest villain of them all, little did you know, there is someone watching you who has much more villainous energy than you. So much more. And they don't always look like a big bear. Sometimes they look like a 22-year-old with a perfect shot. Did you see that shot in slow-mo? He only had one. I think he was like waiting for the word to come out. Like, watching that shit in 3D slow motion was crazy. That was karma. It was like, that is the best Marvel movie that we have ever seen. It was so good. So good. Like I said, I'm not advocating for the death. I'm just saying, like, you couldn't have asked for a sweeter amount of karma. Having someone kind of get what's coming to them. And I guess the other part about this is I hadn't been following long enough to understand and see the other people who have been hurt for so long from the things that this man was saying. Like, I just didn't tap in. Like, I gotta say, like, a part of the way that I live my life is by actually engaging with the people that I like, or learning or following people I could learn something from. After watching just a few Charlie videos, it was clear, like, you're not gonna learn anything from him. He's just like a part of a hate group. Like, do you want to learn to hate? Like, no. So, like, why would you follow him? That, I mean, obviously, right? But maybe not obviously. Clearly not. Another thing I thought was, like, interesting is the white women who came on crying about, like, he had a family. He was a father. What? Newsflash, Hitler had a family, too. He also had a father. He also had breeding camps to, like, reproduce more Hitlers. That was the point. So that argument is kind of going totally the wrong way. Like, no, that, and I've seen so many responses like that, which is wildness. Like, these people, these women, they legitimately believe that their lives are worth more. That's, like, they don't see the humanity in other people. And so that this is how, like, they can watch Palestinian children, women, dogs, cats, fathers, priests get blown to smithereens, and they feel nothing. They will actually turn off the television and then actively go outside and promote hate toward another group. And then imagine that anyone at all is going to have empathy when justice prevails toward them. I, like, what? Who would make that argument? The only argument to be made, if you do have compassion for life, is that you feel sad that a life was lost, and you have hope that gun reform is put into place so it doesn't happen again. Anything outside of that, though, is an illogical argument in this case. He was a father. This country doesn't give a shit about mothers. What? Not even a little bit. I read something else where there was, like, a black man who, the Schuler guy, he literally tweeted, or he made a video that said, like, I can't celebrate the loss of life. I can tell you right now, that's bullshit for the black community, because, like, black men all day make fun of abortion, like, all day long. I can cite 27 rap songs right now where they are making fun of dead babies. So that certainly does not apply in this community. So I do not want to hear that argument from anybody. Like, we are so far past that. Like, if you wanted to have even a simpleton, tiny, minuscule, it's like the smallest violin in the fucking history of life. Like, that's not even, that, I can't believe he got on Beyonce's internet to say that, okay? That is disrespectful. Because if the stat proves me correct, just yesterday, 700 black babies in America were aborted. So, if you were confused about how much black men care about black life, it's 0%. Just to let you know. It's also weird for any of them to, like, have any feelings about any of this at all. Like, I saw 19 Keys talk about this, where he was like, man, I didn't know so many young black youth cared about Charlie Kirk. I didn't know either. It was like all of them had something to say. And I'm like, I don't understand how, like, a fascist is your superhero. Like, that is your leader. Like, what? Did you not get the memo that he hates you and wants your rights revoked? Did you miss that part? Did you miss the part when he said blacks were better off in slavery? Like, which part? Maybe they didn't listen to all the talks. But then again, there are a lot of low IQ blacks, so let's be serious. Like, those are probably the ones who made the video responses first. Yeah, I don't know. Just weird, strange day. And I just had so many thoughts that I had to come on and get a few out, because it was just like, it was so many things. And I guess maybe there is like a lot to learn from this situation, just because like so many people seem to have been impacted, but I can't really understand why. Like, I feel like he like died as he lived, insignificantly, but that's just how I feel. I also feel like many more people were negative. Like, I've heard a few people say this, but like, I think that to his supporters, you might want to have a serious wake-up call, because when that, like, I'm certainly not on here celebrating his death. I don't, like, there's nothing to celebrate. I actually think that those conversations were useful. It's useful to understand where fascists, like when you hear, when there is a bigot who wants to talk and video record his ideas for me to put into an algorithm, bring on the bigots. I need more data. Give me all the bad talking points. Just every single one of them. Give them. Let us have them. Like, we want to know who you are, how you look, how you feel, how you hate. Do your children hate like that too? Do they look like you? Okay, cool. And they go there. Okay, we got to put it all together, right? Make sure there's no confusion. Because in this case, there is no confusion. Like, most of the unhappiness, I suppose, is with people being unhappy about others quoting him and shit that he said. So it wasn't even like they were making up their own opinions. They legitimately just started playing back shit that he said. And people got mad about that. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why would you be upset about him, about other people sharing his words that he said and he believed? But even beyond that, like, it's the foot off of the neck syndrome. Like, I didn't understand the sheer amount of people that he hurt with his rhetoric, which clearly it was a lot. That's why they're so happy that he's gone. But it's like a lot of people. Like, I haven't been following enough to understand what he's been saying. I think, though, there's just a bunch of other people who are probably on the campus, you know, as this happened, and they were listening to it in person, you know, and they were like, wow, this is not acceptable rhetoric. This is wild, you know, like, oh my God. And they were probably very hurt by it. So yeah, I've seen many, like, they look like Gen Z or maybe Gen Alpha college student women saying that they don't care. They're happy that he died. And, you know, I don't know. Indifferent would be, I definitely feel like probably justice was served. Like, it definitely, especially with the gun right thing, that was very strange. Like, to not care about gun rights and then get gunned down is a whole, I mean, poetic justice. I've already said that, but like, yeah. Yeah, there's, when that many people are happy that you died, you've done quite a lot of wrong in the world. Like, it would be a whole different thing if you died and it was just like insignificant, because people were like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't even, whatever, okay. But there's something else when they're like going out of their way to make like celebratory videos. Like, what did you do? Like, how many communities did he target? Like, every community? Like, everybody? Like, shit. Like, that. I think his wife should kind of be ashamed. Like, you picked that to, like, she procreated with Hitler. And it's talking about, like, other people should feel empathy for me. Like, girl, you're on your own there.